we've got an image of what Jesus may look like or somebody else,
Right.
Buddha, etc. So I understand that, and I totally agree with that one. Regarding karma, I think karma is a seriously interesting topic at this minute because it's getting challenged now. My understanding of it, and having the experiences which I've previously had at the very beginning of the journey or the path, and then entering into Buddhism and understanding some of the teachings there and seeing, the power or the strength of, or the prominence, that's maybe the better word, the prominence of karma is influential for me, in so much as, firstly, just to qualify this, I don't believe that we may think we've done something wrong in this lifetime and in a previous lifetime, so we're treated bad in this lifetime. Like people say, oh, wait, this is my karma, I must have been bad in the previous lifetime. And it's like, okay, let's just press pause here, because that can actually cause damage to that individual's mental well-being, because they're already influencing, they're already saying to themselves, I've been a bad person in a past life, and I'm now being punished for it because my life is, not really going how I think it should go. That's one aspect. The other aspect is, at the moment, my understanding is, I think karma is in everything. And I agree with what you said. I don't think it's just a question of negative and positive. I think it's so much more. I definitely is connected to cause and effect. We know if I'm going to do something wrong or say something wrong, likely I'm going to get the same thing reflected back to me at some point. I've created a cause, there's going to be an effect from that cause. And we can liken it, we're building something. So we're creating the causes all the time, if you like. That's where I kind of come from, but not this. And in a positive way, just finally, if we take the fact that karma is in everything, in every moment of our existence, not in the bad way, but as in it's probably, it's just a word, it's a term, it's a concept. But if we go beyond that and we go, okay, what about all the positive things we've done in our previous lifetimes? What about the light, what we have shown? Because we know we are light and we're emitting light constantly. That's, if you like, the soul or the field of energy, whatever we call it, our mind, our consciousness. So we're always generating light. So we've done so many positive aspects in all our previous lifetimes. That's why we're still here at this moment. So I go with that one, Mike, to be honest.
I mean, we also have to consider, just to expand on this and throw more spanners into the works, life contracts. And I've mentioned this before, and Jeanne's mentioned it. A life contract is a very loose, earthly term to call it. Although some people in an NDE have actually seen their contract, and that's, again, their perception. But let's just talk about for a minute this idea that, people who do the most evil things are going to be punished for eternity and, are doomed to stay in these hellish vibrations, and there's no opportunity because they've been so bad. But again, I think this is another earthly way of looking at things, because let's take, and I've mentioned it before to other people, the example of Judas, who betrayed the Christ. Well, someone had to, for the legacy of Christ to be fulfilled. Otherwise, we wouldn't know about Christ. He might have just been a figure out of history who was killed for healing, but there wouldn't have been that legacy. In much the same way with Jeanne d'Arc, if you were on the side of the English, you would have seen this girl as one of the most evil and wicked people in the world. If you was with the French, you would see her as the saviour. So I think we look at things with our emotional heart when things are too close to home, like the Second World War and things like this. But I can't see an all-loving God, as you say, in whatever shape or form or vibration that comes in, is a vengeful God. That's a human construct as well. Over to
Yeah,
you.
totally agree. Yeah, Mike, I totally agree with this. With man in his quest for power through the density of his own ego
Yeah,
and insecurity, ultimately its own insecurity, has created all these beliefs, false belief systems,
yeah,
and the masses have been affected by them.
yeah,
And it's all down to man, I believe.
yeah,
I absolutely love hearing individuals' experiences of spiritual matters where they've seen the light or they've experienced a God in their way, which is fitting for that mind, um, and all this type of things. Um, Regarding the life contract, I personally, and it's only my personal view, like we always do on these talks,
mm-hmm.
um, I don't believe in them. I think it's got connotations of, you know, we're signing contracts, work and employment contracts here on the airplane. We're signing contracts for, buying a home, or, it's all contracts everywhere, legalities. And what's happened with the soul contract, so to speak, is like, oh, yeah, I signed this piece of paper on the other side. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah,
This is utter ridiculous. It's a material, earthly invention from the mind, what's trying to understand the deeper frequency of existence. So they're using these things as a stepping stone, if you like, to the next frequency of awareness.
yeah,
It's important what we try and do is expand our awareness as much as we possibly can, because then we'll move beyond these concepts of earthly nature.
yeah,
So I'm totally with you on this one.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, because we have to remember that we are in the world, but not of the world, and so we have to somehow negotiate our way through this. But as you
Yeah,
say, society, religion, in particular, since we're talking about this subject, has. I was brought up a Catholic, and boy, there was never a dull moment of knowing everything I was doing was pretty much wrong and sinful, and you
yeah,
know, um, and God
uh,
knows how I managed to pull away from that concept. Otherwise, I'd be doomed to come back to this planet forever. Which actually, here's another point. Again, this is what Jeanne's telling me, and I'm paraphrasing everything because she gives me so much information. Is that we're not here to learn. The soul always was, is, and will be. It's all knowledgeable. And when we talk about uh, young souls and old souls, she's referring to actually, let's say, a fragment of the soul decides to incarnate into Mike, who has decided from spirit world to create this persona Mike. And Mike goes onto the earth plane, and he's got free will. There's a certain amount of free will, and the soul enters Mike, becomes one with Mike, and guides Mike, or tries to guide Mike and protect Mike, and does all the things that the soul is meant to do. But then, Mike, let's say Mike was or is a terrible person, gambling money that hasn't got, robbing people, doing this, that, and the other. This is Mike's foundation vibration. And what she's saying is that when you die, you go back, and if that root vibration cannot be sustained in the spirit world, you may have to go to the halls of healing, or it may be decided that you have to go to where your light can best survive, which is
yeah,
usually the earth plane or the astral, the lower realms of the astral. Heaven forbid anyone would want to go down to the lower ends of the astral, which in my experience is the hellish vibration. So you have to come back, not because you've been a bad boy, but that's where your vibration can sustain
yeah,
its existence.
yeah.
So I don't think it is about you was a bad person. Because if this was the case, what about the great good people, Jane Goodall, for example, who's recently passed away, and all these other wonderful souls that did so much for people. Well, I mean, why don't they just go back and stay there? They will, I think, because their vibration is high enough. So, you know, yes, we all do bad things throughout our life. Most often it's because we just didn't think correctly, or we had a bad moment, and so that passes. So I think that's different than being just an out and out rogue, you know. Um, so yeah, it's a big question. There is no easy answer. I just personally believe that it's where your root vibration can survive.
Yeah, yeah, Mike. This is nice to listen to be honest, because there's so many aspects in what you've just said.
Yeah.
I mean, all let's say all karmically interrelated, depending what karma is and whether it actually really does exist.
Right.
But there's some kind of we know everything is interconnected,
Yeah.
and this business of good and bad, rather than everything just is. So this this good and bad is, we know now, or we understand more clearer, that that's part of the separation,
Yeah.
and not the oneness. In the oneness, all just is, so to speak. So that removes straight away. That removes good and bad, and it looks like we're at that point. We know the change is happening now.
Yeah.
And it appears there's several factors. What's kind of ripening to the surface. We're getting very close to this end scenario, whatever it may be. Duality. This question of duality, which is so prevalent on the planet and so prevalent in most people's minds. Not all, but most. This taking of sides, duality, divide, division, etc. It's all connected to duality, which is lacking the singularity of awareness. And when we, like you said, once we vibrate at a certain frequency of awareness, we enter the singularity of our own awareness, so to speak. Yeah. And then the learning aspect. Learning, I really like listening. When you come out of that, I was like, okay. I think when well, we'll put it as it is. We're knowing beings, as in all knowledgeable, like you described. We're knowing. We know everything. Yeah. Spontaneously, instantaneously, intuitively, instinctively, we know. The frequency, what we attune to, we know it, because we're of the same frequency. Yeah. Yeah. And in that, when we step into the knowing, or that space within our awareness where the knowing is permeating and has risen up within our awareness, ripened, so to speak, there is no learning. Learning can't exist in knowing, you know. Yeah. So it looks like we're going to the point of singularity, which is going to dismiss the duality. Yeah. We're going into knowing, which is going to dismiss the learning. Yeah. So we're starting to see a picture, an image of what the future might look like, you know. Yeah. And I think the question of karma will also be answered at some point along that, you know, when that takes place.
I mean, for me, it's very clear that we're going into what they call the heavenly vibrations of 5D, the fifth dimension. This seems to be very clear. There is at the moment this duality, from what I can see, where there's two ways people are going, and that is those that are rising up into that fifth, and there are those that have chosen to stay comfortably in this old 3D vibration, which is dying, it ceasing to exist, as we see all major societal structures beginning to crumble and being replaced with other structures, namely financial. And what I understand is that it's going to be much better for us. I don't want to get too much into this because this this but I'm blessed to know something is going to happen where people are going to have abundance. Those that wish to be in that fifth dimensional realm. But you see, this is the thing about the divine and divine planning. Those that who want to stay how they are, comfortable with what I would say excessive consumerism, queuing up outside Apple at 3 in the morning just to get the new telephone, and all of this, that'll still exist for those people.
Yeah.
But for now, until there is the singularity, and there will be singularity, because we have a tiny fragment of the divine within us. And if we've got that tiny fragment of the divine within us, then we are partially divine. So it's only a matter of time before we decide to tune into that part of us that is divine. And this is what we're seeing now. And this all started in 2020. It went through the roof, evolution. And it's still rising. And many people have heard me talk about the Schumann resonance, and the collective consciousness is so high and so powerful now that we've got to a stage that whatever's going on around you won't affect you if you don't allow it to affect you. That's how much the evolution has risen over the last 5 years. So
I like it, Mike, because it's almost like we can say if a mind or an individual is vibrating at a high enough frequency, nothing's going to touch it.
No.
Because it will just dispel it from its space.
Yeah.
And I think we know we're living in a world which is deliberately sending out masses of signals in order to create masses of distractions.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah.
But there's those minds at the minute who are fully aware of how to protect their energies and stop a lot of those distractive energies filtering through into their mind, and they're all in the space, they're all in the light, so to speak. Sorry, I need to cough now because I'm sorry. So it's almost as if we can say, because there's two things what I'm seeing at the moment, exactly similar to what you've just said, which is one, there's energies trying to suck everybody down. It's like what I call a psychic abyss. It's drawing a lot of minds down. And if the mind is not aware and alert and guarded and vigilant over their own light, they can easily slip into that abyss. The ones who are alert and have some degree of clarity, and that's not disrespectful to anybody in any way, shape, or form, but I know there's minds out there with some degree of clarity, and they are blatantly refusing to allow any negative aspects to enter into their field of energy, into their space, so to speak. And it's changing the game. I would say for anybody at this minute, really block off any distractions, what's around you, and really focus on turning your energies up, your frequency, because that's what's helping this change. That's what's helping. If we say healing is happening, that's what's helping the healing and awakening for humanity, and ready to let go and not dissolve the 3D completely, because it's in existence. We don't control the 3D as such. We don't control any dimension. We know this. But to ascend beyond the 3D and expand further into the fourth dimension and into the fifth and so on. I think I actually, final note on this, I actually think that we're only just merging with the fourth dimension at the minute. But it's like we're making a grab for the fifth, because the fifth dimension seems to be the one what seems to be the safe space. So in between the third and the fifth, this fourth dimension is because everybody talks about the fifth dimension. I'm like, guys, shall we start talking about the fourth one as well? We can't skip it. And he's like, so what's happening in the fourth is this is where the transformation and the letting go, etc., potentially is. And of course, there's so much more to be discovered in the fourth dimension. But I think it's also a springboard into the fifth dimension and further. Yeah, we can talk about the eighth and 10th and 12th dimensions, but unless we're doing it, when we tap into those sort of higher dimensions, what's referred to as higher dimensions or higher numbered dimensions, shall we say, they're just temporary moments within a meditation. Yeah. If we was manifesting the 12th day or the 9th day at this minute, we wouldn't even be visible. It's like we need to be realistic. And all right, let's say for me, we've come to bring light into this plane, so we need to keep our feet on the ground. But at the same time, at that moment, when we've connected, when we're looking at energies and electricity and electromagnetic and all this lot, once we've connected and earthed our physical body, the sky's the limit. We can take off and, as many times as much as we want in this ascension process. Yeah. Because the light's got to come in. That's what's changing it. We're bringing the light in. Yeah. I better pause at that point because I'll start flying off on one mic.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, we often forget about the fourth, which is often seen as a destructive frequency, but it's a bridge. It's a cleansing. It's helping us get over the bridge, as it were, from the third into the fifth. So it is necessary, but again, it's how you deal with it. I've got this saying that's ships don't sink with water around them. Ships sink when water gets inside them. So the moral of the story is don't let what's going on around you get inside you. And if you can do this, I was talking to someone today who's really quite concerned that World War III is going to break out, which I told her, well, spiritually it's ending right now, so you don't have to worry about that. But the consciousness of people right now is exactly that. Whatever the news and everything is throwing at you, observe it, but don't absorb it. Yeah. And if you do that, whatever's going on around you will not affect you. And I know this from my own experiences from 2020, through my own healthcare choices. Whatever was going on around me didn't affect me. And we know through positive thinking, and we know through what you conceive in your mind will eventually manifest. Because here is a classic example, and I gave this in my talk. If you're watching horror movies every night, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and you're all on your own, I'll guarantee you within 10 minutes you won't feel like you're alone anymore, because the brain doesn't understand that that's just a TV program. It can't distinguish between reality and TV. So if we take this into the positive sense, and if our conscious mind is thinking of something beautiful and wonderful or something it wants to create, then it will eventually happen. And it's happening a lot quicker now as we are in this ascension process. And then, of course, we have to do something physical to make it happen. But here's the kicker. Maybe you'll disagree with me here. You've got to see what you want, feel what you want, act as though you've already got it, but don't have the emotional attachment to it, and at least until it comes. Because if you attach emotion and it doesn't come when you think it's going to come or you want it to come, you start getting disappointed, despondent, and then you give up. You just go, oh, this doesn't work. So if you just know it's coming and rise above the emotion of it actually coming, and then have the feeling of gratitude and everything else once it's there, that is the way I think to go forward with it. I don't know, is that your experience with all of this?
Yeah, Mike, this is beautiful to listen to. And again, I'm in agreement with you, because I mean, we can go even further with it, but I mean, extending it from my point, what my understanding overall, to this degree anyway, um, acceptance is key because, we're kind of like, we're projecting a thought. Well, we can backtrack. If we just stop trying to control life, I've always found life will really seriously embrace us in its most contented natural state. There's a sense of peace, there's a sense of equilibrium, there's a sense of oneness when we let go of the controlling mind and we just go, okay, I'm existing in whatever this space is, and I'm going to abide in the stillness with me, try to keep as much clarity as I possibly can. And in that is what you're saying for me, what is in agreement with what you're saying is keep detached from the external negative aspects. Because that's what breaks our sense of peace. We know we're responsible. If Colin's upset, it's because Colin's allowed himself to be upset. If Colin's got a problem, it's because he's just had the thought of having a problem. So Colin don't do any of that stuff. It's like, ain't going to happen. Because this is not selfish, but this is, I think, our responsibility. It's like the soul is telling us, take care of me because I'm taking care of you and we're taking care of each other. And don't have any issues because you're just going to invent more suffering. When we start projecting, we start then developing a sense of acceptance, of expectation. And this is the word I wanted to bring up alongside parallel to what you're saying, because I think they both go together. Keeping detached and not getting emotionally involved in it, and not having any expectations. I think most of us, or the mind will suffer when it's got expectations, and we know what happens to most expectations. They're not realised. We don't have our expectations realised and come into being. And what happens for most minds, because they're emotionally attached to it, they're disappointed. If they're disappointed, they can be upset to the point where they can be angry. It's like, well, that's in the mind. So you go, okay, let me sort that one out for a start. And keep that sense of emotional detachment, not in a cold way. I'm not referring to it in a cold way. Yeah. So that's where I'm kind of where I am with this, Mike. I agree with you. I don't know if I've got any questions. Does anybody ask any questions? Is anybody with us?
I can't see any questions coming up just yet, but there are some people here with us. They can, put some questions in the comments, and we'll see what comes up. But to put it another way, with what you're saying, it's our old adversary, the monkey mind, isn't it? It really wants to, and I think a lot of this is to do with the, as you mentioned earlier, the constant distractions that we've got. We've been taught also that authority is correct. We've been taught the only way to God is through religion or the church, and we're constantly being suppressed.
Yes.
Our how we see ourselves is always constantly being challenged. That we need the assistance of authority of some shape or form to help us get into that higher vibration. Sure, we need help. We all need help, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we're totally distracted. Also, with so much to do, with so much to see, it's click, 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 click. We've lost our sense of contentment.
Yes.
Our ability to stay focused on something for long periods of time has disintegrated for quite a lot of people, and so this also is pushing us back down into this lower vibration. If you look at some of the ceremonies like CERN, the halftime of the Super Bowl, some of the routines in Eurovision, these are very, very dark things indeed if you know what you're looking for. I mean, I actually saw Forrest Gump the other day, and we'll raise it back up again, where he's actually doing the Baphomet sign. I mean, all this stuff is subconsciously getting into you, and so we always say, you know, turn off the news, don't read the newspaper. You know, we've been threatened with this stuff since I've been 5 years of age. But because of the light, because of all the work people are doing, we keep marching on and we keep moving forward. And we are approaching, in my opinion, end game with all
Me
of
too.
this.
Yeah, I agree.
And this new world is going to be coming in pretty soon. But we got to, it's not even hold our nerve. We just got to go, you know, let them fight amongst themselves, because that's what's beginning to happen now.
Yes.
We have to build community, I feel, and that's what one of the things I started to do, the Société Jeanne d'Arc and the Divine Service, is to build community, because when there's community, there's strength, and there's a lot of now communities that are beginning to express themselves and come out into the open, as it were, and I think this is important now. It really. Somehow we've all got to find the courage now to step out and be open, because we are in the truth vibration now, and the truth will be spoken either deliberately or as a fraudulent slip, which we see many politicians doing now, but even for ourselves, truth is the only way forward now. And you will find that anyone that's of a certain vibration, if they willingly do something that they know they shouldn't, they'll get called out, because their vibration will not support. Not because God or guides are going to punish you because you shouldn't. No, because your vibration is at this level and you're doing something at this level, it ain't going to happen. It doesn't work. And so you feel the result of your misdeeds. This is where we are now. But somebody who's working on a lower vibration will appear to the rest of the people to march through life unharmed, enjoying it. But we know that really isn't the case. So
yeah, good points, Mike. Really good points.
Yeah,
because we know all we can use the one that's out there at the minute is everything is coming to light.
Yeah.
So, and there's not going to be any stone or rock left unturned.
No.
It's impossible. And it's funny, isn't it? Because I liken it to, if we see it as an abyss, and at the top part of the abyss is where the sun's shining above the water, and in the bottom of the abyss is that it's, deepest, darkest point there down in that abyss, which is like, we're talking like a V-shaped.
Yeah.
And it's the light's just coming further and further down into the abyss. So it's lighting everything up.
Yeah.
And that's where we're seeing politicians trip themselves over because they can't hold that lighter vibration because it's not authentic.
Yeah.
So they're making them fraudulent slips.
Yeah.
And it's with respect to them. I think it's really important at this minute where, let's overemphasize it a little touch, if that's the right way of doing it or saying it. I think it's extremely important right now that everybody, whoever can do it, go within and protect their own light and their own energies and manage their energies at this moment as much as they possibly can and as best as they can. And let go as many dense energies, what they may be carrying, whatever term they want to call them, issues, traumas, whatever, it doesn't matter. They are dense, old energies. Let go of them as much as possible and shine as bright as they possibly can. That's the thing what's needed now. Everybody needs to shine as bright as they possibly can because there's a concerted effort to pull humanity down. And in that, what you've said, 100% behind that as well, community is now needed more than ever. And that for that, like you said, strength. And I would also add and say support. people need that support. It's funny talking about community because we've literally we've been had something in the planning for a couple of years, and we've just over a week ago we've opened what's called an ethereal virtual centre, and we're putting different kind of topics on every day. We've got some beautiful minds leading different classes and meditations and healing sessions, and that's building up now, and it's building in. I've always tried to avoid the word community, and it's like, okay, no, now's the time to kind of embrace it a little bit. Because I've been so detached to a point, because for lots of reasons. But at the minute, and like you were saying in Vienna, what you're doing, when I came over to Vienna and I got back, and it's like, okay, we need to support Mike as much as possible because it's clear what's going on over there. And I think this supporting each other is, and the last thing, Mike, what we're seeing is not just genuine minds, what's filled with love and compassion and that abundance of light. I think what we're seeing is, and this is what's really coming to the fore, authenticity. The authentic minds out there are now stepping forward, where they've been in the background for a lot of time. And most of the minds, they've not done the spiritual bypassing. They haven't just chased the gift, so to speak. They've gone, I need to do the work, and the gift or the ability will automatically come with it, which we know it does. So there's an authenticity coming like to the surface globally, what I'm seeing. And it's stunning to observe and watch. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The authentic voice now, the throat chakra needs to be heard. Slowly, people are finding the courage to speak authentically, and it's done through community by being able to speak, first of all, in community without judgment, without fear, without ridicule. And this is what I think is the way forward, and this is what I think. It doesn't matter if you've got 5 or 6 people in your community. They'll all. It's like the 100th monkey effect. I don't know if you're aware of this. It snowballs, and you'll get people who you not only the 100th monkey effect, but 6 degrees of separation. I mean, I digress a little bit. This theory was not a theory, but I know someone who knows 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 the president. That's how we are close, connected to each other. My wife is actually 2 degrees of separation from that horrible incident in Utah a few weeks ago. She's 2 degrees of separation from that. So this is how close we are, and this is how important community is. We're not isolated, and the Heart Math Institute did this study with what do they call them? Something generators. They're these machines that they've put into the ground, and they fire random event generators. They fire up different numbers. It'll be 1 2 1 1 2 2 1 1 2 2, and they fire these up, and they notice that before a major event takes place, those random event numbers started becoming organised. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 4 hours before the planes hit the Twin Towers, they went from random to organised. At the funeral of Diana, or when it was announced Diana died, it went from random to organised. Before the release of Mandela in prison, from random to organised. And it's discovered that Mother Earth and humanity are linked. We walk on this planet not independently, but together. And what has actually happened is that Mother Earth hears our conscious thoughts, which tells us that we are all knowing. We knew something was going to happen at that higher level, but the monkey mind wouldn't allow us or maybe the monkey
Yeah,
mind was protecting us. I don't know, but and it turns out that the heart frequency is within the same range as the frequency of Mother Earth. So we're totally connected to Mother Earth. We're totally connected to each and every one of us, albeit by 6 degrees of separation.
yeah,
So this idea of actually this religion, that religion, or this political party, that political party, it's all separation and it's all
yeah,
disintegrating because the natural the natural way for humanity is to be one.
mm,
And before you jump in, I'll go even further and say, because this is what Jeanne has also told me, we will reach the stage again where the lion will walk with the lamb and the cat and the mouse will be able to walk together without anyone wanting to eat each other, because this is a fear energy. Because once
yeah,
upon a time that didn't happen.
yeah,
This is the fear energy, and that is all gonna all disappear. And so that's not to say, Colin, in the fifth there's going to be uh, disagreements. There will, but we just won't beat each other up over it. You know, we can agree
yeah,
to disagree, um, and so life carries on. I'm sure in the spirit world there are disagreements, and
mm,
people just go about their life as they would. It's just that they probably don't gossip about this person and that person because they're all on the same vibration.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's
Beautiful stuff.
yeah,
Well,
it's
we're seeing the animal communication now, aren't we? We're seeing the communication with dogs and horses and cats and all, and the therapy and the healing through the animal kingdom.
yeah,
We're seeing some startling stuff, even on Facebook. We see some videos where animals, what would normally, be at each other's throats, are not. They're set there calm as anything. In fact, very protective of each other. So I can clearly see what and go along with what you've just described there in the future,
yeah,
where man and the animal kingdom will live in harmony with each
yeah, yeah, yeah.
other.
And I think it's going to come much sooner as we keep gaining traction, and
Yeah,
I think that's good. You know, every morning I go for a walk in the forest, and I see the deer there, and they're getting used to me. They don't come too near me, and I just do a little, and they look up. Oh, it's him. He's okay, and they carry on. And
yeah,
and this is beautiful. I mean, I'm blessed with this life that I can go
yeah,
for a walk at 6, and I don't even lock my front door. I just walk out and go for a walk in the forest, and then come back and start my day. I I think this might not be for everyone, but what I'm saying is that calmness, that simplicity of life
yeah,
is coming back, and it doesn't mean that you don't have ambition. No, it just means everything becomes simpler. Like you said,
yeah,
when you let go, when you
yeah,
let go, it's the fastest way to freedom.
yeah. It's so true, Mike. It is, and this is how it's got to be. It cannot be the way it's been, and it cannot be the way it appears to be going in such a negative, dense way. We are not dense beings. We're the complete opposite.
Right?
We are beings of space and clarity and light,
Yeah.
and we transform dense energies. That's what we are. We're transformers. Our light draws it in. We transform it. We
Yeah.
become more enlightened, so to speak, or lighter.
Yeah.
Um, and the animal kingdom pick that up off us. They sense it,
Mm.
and they go, "Okay, I like that guy. Okay, no, I'm a bit shady about that one, so I'm gonna, keep a wide bear." Whichever, they're reading the energies, aren't they?
Yeah.
And like you said, the earth itself is.
Yeah.
We've had a lot recently. It's funny you're talking about the earth, Mike, because of the earth's vibrations. I've always believed the earth has got this consciousness, which is, well, slightly just go somewhere else with it. I think the AF knows exactly what it's doing.
Yeah.
We've got to be careful what we say, or Colin is anyway, can't speak for anybody else, that, we know there's been so much damage done to the AF. That is unquestionable. And yet, we've been on the planet 70 years, 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, The AF has been around since time immemorial. It knows exactly what it's doing. It's like it's got so much more wisdom than what we have while we're in the physical body.
Yeah.
And I think once we raise our consciousness and vibrate to a certain frequency or move through those frequencies of our awareness, which are pure and lighter, we really do connect and blend and harmonize. It's almost like we can feel the breath of the planet itself and more and further. And it all stems from the core within ourselves. So this change, what we're seeing, I would say to anybody, do not, under any circumstances, fear it, have any fear over the change. However drastic and bad, and we're seeing horrendous things taking place. I'm not coming from an ignorant space as such in that way. Sure. There's horrendous horrors going on right now as we're talking and speaking now. It's not denying that. What I'm trying to say to people is, stay in your light and protect your light and keep shining it and emanating it, because that's what's going to get us all through it. And we'll get into that new space, what we call, people call it the new earth or the new vibration. I call it a new vibration of existence. And we're moving towards ethereal beings and an ethereal state of way. But finally, last thing, Mike, talking about community, and I've got to say this because it's startling when just to be present in that space. There's a space what we work with on Menorca Consciousness Group, and now this new centre, Ethereal Virtual Centre, and talking about having conversations, whether we disagree with somebody or not. Sometimes we have I'm witness to the most beautiful conversations in that space, and the most beautiful minds sit there with this amazing sense of acceptance that somebody else has got an opinion and they have the right to that opinion. Right. Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's it. I've gone.
I've lost you. Hang on. There we go. There's something dodgy going on. There you go. We're around the other way. Oops. Let's put you back.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
is that okay? How's that?
We'll stay here. We're round the other way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there we are. Look, back again. Okay. Yeah. Colin, we're going to have to wrap this up because I know you got a circle a little later on. So let's just touch on your book. Now, I was talking to Elizabeth, my wife, and she was reading me an excerpt from it for any budding mediums out there, how to deal with a no. And it goes in line with what we was talking about, acceptance.
Yeah.
You can only give the information, and it's not about you. It's not personally about you. If they, for whatever reason, they can't take the information, they say no, there's not much you can do about it if their mind is not focused on because some people come to these evenings, God bless them, and they really want to hear from someone, and actually by doing that, inadvertently they're blocking that energy of coming through. But they're so focused on it that when you bring someone else through, their mind is still on the person they want, and they're no.
Yeah.
So tell us just a little bit about how a medium can help somebody in that frame of mind when they've come to an evening and they keep saying, "Oh, I can't understand that."
Well, again, I think you're correct in what you're saying, Mike. There's a tunnel vision when somebody comes for a reading, whether it's private reading or in a demonstration. Let's say they're intensely focused on a specific soul who they wish to come through, and that creates a tunnel vision for them. And it basically tightens, it pulls their awareness in. So therefore, they'll um and ah about some of the other stuff until that one person's arrived.
Yeah.
Then they'll open it up because they'll relax and go, oh, they're here. Okay, then I'll open up, and they'll start saying yes to more things.
Yeah.
I do really believe that most no's in a reading are innocent.
Yeah.
That the mind cannot, in that moment, think
Yeah.
that yes, I can take that, and we witness that all the time. 5 minutes after a demonstration, a phone call the next day, or whatever, whenever it is, it's like, oh, the founder, such and such, yeah, it's okay, right? So it's one of them, and we have, as mediums, we're not here to impose our ego and our dissatisfaction onto somebody and make them feel belittled, especially a recipient.
Yeah.
You can take it. I've got it. You can take it.
Yeah.
It's so inappropriate as far as I'm concerned. It's like, okay, so somebody saying no, my way of doing it is like, it's okay. Let's put it to one side.
Yeah.
I don't even go back most occasions. I don't go back to spirit like some people say, oh, go back to spirit and ask them. It's like, no, look, spirit works so fast. They don't want to, they're not, in that moment for that piece of evidence, so to speak. They know how we feel. They know how the recipient feels. Put it to one side. Most of the time, I'll just go, bin it. I'm not even bothered. Come on, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Because by and large, the main message is being conveyed to that recipient.
Right.
And that's what spirit want.
Yeah.
Faffing about, trying to deal with these small pieces, sometimes this business of, evidential mediumship, it's like, okay, where is it? Where's the line with this evidential and not evidential? What's the mental mediumship about and all this? So I find it all intriguing and interesting, and we need to kind of clearly define what everything is.
Yeah.
So not just new people, but some people who are already in the space can grasp some of those teachings, what Spirit have shared with us, and go, the pen's just dropped. I thought it was this for the last 20 years.
Right.
He's like, oh, okay. And the new person goes, wow, okay, that makes it easy for me. Thanks, I'll do it that way.
Yeah.
So the book, I don't know how you found the book. I've got to be careful because I'm biased with a book.
Yeah, well, my wife's getting through it first. She just gives me tidbits at the moment. So I have to put my pinhole glasses on to read the print. But it's an A to Z of spirituality.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I know it's having a flick through. It's interesting to say the least, and I think people who are budding mediums can benefit from this book. Those who are interested in spirituality in general can benefit from this book. I think in general everyone can benefit from this book, even those who have lost somebody. They can go through this, and there's information there that can help them deal with loss and help them deal with mourning and so on and so forth. So I think it's a win-win for everyone, Colin. So if you could tell us the name of the book, where you can pick it up.
Yeah, happily, pleased to. Thank you so much for those beautiful words, Mike. Just quickly, one thing what I found ultimately at the end of the book when I'd finished it, and it was on the go for years, but it wasn't. I knew many years ago it wasn't right for those days. It was right for these days now, this time. But when I looked at it overall, after working on it, going backwards and forwards, etc., arranging everything, and of course it's all, it's mainly what Spirit inspires us to have a look and view at. It doesn't belong to Colin, and teachings are not mine; they belong to all of us. But and I've always had this kind of, I don't know, maybe capacity to view things in a detached manner. And when I viewed and looked at it at the end, even I was slightly shocked by what I saw. It wasn't just this simple A to Z of spiritualism and, what this is, what that is, what angels are, acceptance, etc., mediumship, trance, and so on. There was facets and aspects surrounding it, and then it expanded and expanded. And when you view it, and I thought, actually, this is kind of like a big jigsaw. Right. And somebody mentioned the book the other day. I was talking to in person, and they're quite interested in it. in it, and they was on about trying to get their head around it. And I said to them, look, this might make sense. I don't know. You might have to read some of the things in it on 1, 2, or 3, even 3 occasions to kind of catch it. I said, but the overall thing is, it's like it's filled with lots of jigsaw pieces. But once you finish the book and you have that overview, the jigsaw comes into view. The picture itself, the big picture comes into view. And that's kind of what fascinated me as a side note. But it's a beautiful book. It's the A to Z Index of Spiritualism. I can hold it up if you like. It's
show the people.
There you go. It's a guide to psychic and spiritual development.
Right.
It covers a lot of aspects. You can find it at Menorca Consciousness Group Facebook. If you get in touch with us. It's 300 pages long. It's got about 20 or 30 illustrations in. Let me see if I can quickly just find one. This one here is okay. Like illustrations such as that, just short illustrations, just to give a kind of secondary input. And dimensions, wavelengths, frequencies, and vibrations, explains energies, how we are as energy beings, light beings, channeling, trance, ascension. It's it's filled with so many things, Mike. Right. Not mine. I keep putting it to one side and go. It's nothing to do with me. It's spirit.
I know the feeling. Yeah. So, Colin, what I'll do is I'll put all that information on the YouTube information so people can pick it up there. And
great, thanks.
Just tell the people about your circles very briefly. Are you looking for new people out there to?
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely. We're very protective over the space because we're, for somehow spirit and the people what come to the space generate this beautiful, compassionate light. And energy that obviously really adds to the energy in the space, but it's a remarkable space. We have weekly open circles. We've got 2 open circles on the go. We do classes, courses, like we're just going to come off here, and we've got a Kundalini course, which is we're halfway through now. And we've got a trance course. We've got a mediumship course starting next Tuesday. We're going to be doing it in modules. There's healing aspects. So there's so much and so many more things kind of in the pipeline. We're going to have funny enough, I was just going to mention Melissa. We're going to have. I can't believe you just put that up, and I was just about to talk about it. We're also going to. We're going to ask. We're also going to have Melissa's actually taking it, holding the space, thankfully. A trance healing clinic. So that's starting soon. As well as we've got an awakening club taken by Veronica Jenkins. We've got Sue Townsend leading different things, the healing, the inspirational writing. Trish and Colette. Colette will be taking the will on Sunday. We've got a will prayers for world peace on Sunday by Colette, and we've got Annie Claire. She leads meditations and other things, and the Moon Phase community. So just have a look. If anybody's interested, you're more than welcome. Thank you so much, Mike.
Okay.
And so much.
We'll call it a day here today. Just hang on for a little bit once the show goes off.
Definitely.
And I'll just
thank you to everybody for joining us.
Yeah. So until next time, everyone, have a great weekend coming. And remember, you are the light. You are the change. You are the difference. Bye-bye for now,
Love it.
everyone.
Love it.